Hello everyone, it's your bud. Today I will be talking about Andromeda, the shitty TV series and some of its cooler elements. I can save you the pain of having to watch this show while still showing you all the cool races and character designs. There are only 2 or 3 neat things from this show to talk about: the Magog, Trance Gemini, and Andromeda. Those 3 words don't sound like English. The show of Andromeda was created by Gene Roddenberry and based off of his unused ideas from Star Trek, so this does have credibility being made by the creator of Star Trek. Aside from a few cool things though, Andromeda is just so bad, with the worst, cheesiest acting ever. Anyways, now for the good things. Starting with Andromeda's ship design, the outer frame is cool for support for turrets and gives some extra range and sort of like speed bars for a car that I'm sure helps shore up the strength of the overall design. Andromeda is a Commonwealth ship that was trapped in a black hole for centuries, I think, then re-emerging to find the Commonwealth has fallen, and then going on a mission to reunite and rebuild it. The Andromeda is quite a large ship and seems to hold drones and lots of really cool high-tech gadgets. But Andromeda's greatest attribute is the fact that the ship's onboard AI gets its own cybernetic body to interact with the crew and go on adventures with them. Now, instead of telling you more details about her, I have to move on to a new thing because there's just so little character development. And the next cool idea now is the Magog. The Magog are a race of humanoid bats, I believe, that travel around in their world ship, a literal orrery of the solar system. It has planets circling it and all held together with a giant frame of steel that puts most sci-fi megastructures or super weapons to shame. It's one of the coolest designs ever, like a mobile of the solar system that roams the universe. And this pairs very well with their race's form of reproduction. They viciously take women of whatever planet they arrive upon, and then those who they don't kill eventually have the children of the Magog eat their way out of them alien style. Ugh. They're birthed through the violent act of murder. Most of their kind continue to perpetuate this. However, the one that we meet, Rev Bem, a religious Magog, seeks to find peace and a way to leave behind his species' terrible tendencies, while still being aware that he was birthed through an act of violence. The Magogs are a mix of xenomorph and like bears and bats, but they have this giant world ship that they travel in, and we never get to see other spaceships from them, but I was always curious of the relationship between them and their technology. Could they have built their world ship if they only spend their time raiding and pillaging? There isn't much more to say about them, except how hilarious the costumes are. It completely kills the suspension of disbelief and ruins whatever they had going for them. It's like they're just wearing giant onesies. The last thing I mentioned, though, only gets better as the show goes on. This last and best part of the show, along with Andromeda herself, is one of the other female characters, named Trance Gemini. Her character is very mysterious, and the only way I can describe her is Laura Bailey's character Jester from Critical Role. Trance Gemini is a purple alien that doesn't quite know her past, or maybe she just doesn't tell you. And if you care about learning more, go watch for yourself. Believe me, her character it's really cool, but now I have to spoil all the surprises because there's so little character development that to even talk about her character anymore, you have to spoil some things. Hers is probably the only character that gets character development throughout the show, except Andromeda goes through a few things, but Trance Gemini is like the best character. Her character only becomes what it should have been by the end of the show. It took a long time for the show to know what to do with her, but when they figured it out, it was amazing. So, spoilers, 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 spoilers. As I said, she is like Jester from Critical Role, but she's also a lot like Q from Star Trek. She's some sort of trans-dimensional thing, and she was always shy about her past, but she could say something like, "Hey you, take 2 steps to the left," and then it would end up saving someone's life or something like that. Always like tugging on the strings of fate for the benefit of her friends. And she would always like just play it off like, "Oh no, that was a coincidence," or whatever. Her and Teal'c sort of have some similarities where they both have some really weird makeup and they change from like different colors. Sometimes they're gold, sometimes they're not. It's a lot like Teal'c in his makeup. And then the makeup eventually changes and she turns purple. Or maybe she starts purple and then turns gold. All I know is she changes color. It's kind of interesting. Some quotes from her are like, "Well, there's all kinds of futures. I can. Anyone can foresee the numbers of possibilities, all which are constantly diverging. Another line from her is, the future. Sometimes it seems like yesterday, sometimes today, sometimes tomorrow. Imagine the possibilities. So, Trance Gemini is a very cool character, and at one point in the show, the point where her makeup changes, Trance is swapped with a future version of herself, with a different personality. Such a cool idea that time means nothing for her, because she is, spoilers, 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 the avatar of a sun. Born billions of years ago, made of star stuff, able to see the paths that life can take and how to influence them, and even travel down those paths herself. There's another quote here. The lifetime of a human is infinitely smaller compared to that of a star, but a star is born created from dust, just like a human. So it's sort of interesting, like she's made from something that was destroyed, but she's a sun that gives life, so it's a cool like in-between time thing. I like it. I feel like that in her sun form, she can move through all the timelines and see all the outcomes that could appear, and then she has the strength to choose what form she wants to take and when in the timeline she wants to interact with. Sort of like how she swaps out version of herself for a future version, but time doesn't really mean anything to her. The show failed to really use her character, but I still think that her character arc might be the best thing in Andromeda. So there we go, 2 awesome women and a scary murderous Xenos horde. If you want some junky TV with the actor who played Hercules, then go ahead and watch this. It's really not that good, but it's worth a watch if you like sci-fi. There's a few good ideas hidden within the show. So, thanks for watching. I hope you got to learn about some cool new characters and ideas. I was originally just going to do a vid on the Magog, but I thought I should mention some of the cool women from Andromeda. There are more, but Trance Gemini and Andromeda were always the coolest to me. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this topic, then subscribe or leave me a like to show that you want more videos like this. Please leave any questions or suggestions in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.